Elon Musk spots a homeless man outside Tesla, scribbling strange equations on scraps of paper. Curious, he takes a closer look, only to realize the man isn't just any ordinary drifter. What happens next is a twist no one saw coming. Watch till the end to see how 1 second chance changes everything. Elon Musk was a man who thrived on curiosity. It was this trait that led him to change the world with companies like Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink. But today, his curiosity wasn't about rockets or AI, it was about a homeless man sitting outside Tesla's headquarters. Every morning for the past few weeks, Elon had noticed him. The man was different from other homeless people. He didn't beg, didn't hold up signs, and never asked for help. Instead, he sat near the entrance, surrounded by old notebooks, scribbling equations, and diagrams on whatever scraps of paper he could find. At first, Elon assumed the man was just another eccentric, but something about him kept drawing his attention. One afternoon after an important meeting, Elon found himself walking toward the factory's exit. There he was again, the homeless man, completely absorbed in his notes, his hands covered in ink, his face lined with hardship. Curiosity finally got the better of Elon. Instead of heading to his car, he walked toward the man, observing his work from a distance. The scribbled numbers and symbols looked strangely familiar. Elon squinted, his mind processing what he was seeing. Some of those formulas, they weren't just random scribbles, they were advanced engineering calculations, concepts related to aerodynamics, energy efficiency, and even artificial intelligence. Interesting, Elon murmured under his breath. For a moment, he debated whether to approach the man or leave him alone. But then, as if sensing someone watching, the man looked up. His deep-set eyes were filled with exhaustion but also intelligence. Elon took a step closer. "Hey there," he said. "Mind if I take a look at what you're working on?" The man hesitated, his fingers tightening around the paper. He studied Elon for a moment before reluctantly nodding. Elon took the paper, scanning the scribbles. His brows lifted in surprise. Some of these calculations were incredibly advanced, on par with the work his top engineers did. He looked back at the man. "What's your name?" The man hesitated, then, in a quiet but steady voice, he said, "David." Elon nodded, intrigued. "David, where did you learn to do all this?" David exhaled, his eyes darkening. "I used to be someone," he said, "a long time ago." And just like that, Elon knew this man had a story worth hearing. Elon crouched beside David, still holding the piece of paper filled with complex equations. "You used to be someone?" he repeated. "What does that mean?" David sighed, rubbing his temples. "It means I wasn't always like this," he said, gesturing at his tattered clothes and the worn-out backpack beside him. "I had a career, a home, a life, but I lost it all." Elon studied him carefully. "What did you do before?" David hesitated, then finally said, "I was an engineer." "A damn good one." That caught Elon's full attention. "Where did you work?" David gave a bitter chuckle. "Aerospace industry. Worked on propulsion systems, energy storage, AI modeling, you name it. I built it." His voice was laced with frustration, as if his past haunted him. Elon leaned forward. "Then how did you end up here?" David's face darkened. "A series of bad decisions, bad luck, and worse people," he muttered. "Lost my job, then my home, then everything else." He looked away as if ashamed. Elon glanced back at the equations. These weren't the scribbles of a man who had lost his touch. "You still have it," he said. "Your work here, these are real solutions to real problems. Some of these ideas, they could change things." David looked up, skeptical. "Ideas don't matter when no one gives you a chance." Elon smirked. "What if someone did?" David's eyes narrowed. "You offering me a job?" Elon stood up and brushed off his jacket. "I'm offering you a test. Come inside. Let's see what you can really do." For the first time in a long time, David saw something he thought was lost forever. Hope. David hesitated before following Elon inside the Tesla headquarters. The bright, modern interior was a stark contrast to the streets he had called home for years. Employees glanced at him curiously, some whispering, but Elon ignored them and led him straight to an engineering lab. "All right," Elon said, grabbing a tablet and pulling up a schematic. "This is a problem my team has been stuck on for weeks. Let's see what you can do. David took the tablet, his fingers tracing the design of a battery system. Within minutes, his mind clicked into gear. Your thermal management is inefficient, he said. You're losing too much energy and heat dissipation. Try using a graphene-based cooling system instead. Elon's eyes widened. That's actually a brilliant approach. A few engineers nearby stopped what they were doing, drawn in by the conversation. One of them, a senior designer, frowned. Who is this guy? Elon smirked. Someone who might just solve our problems. David spent the next few hours discussing ideas with the engineers. Despite his ragged appearance, his knowledge was undeniable. Slowly, skepticism turned into curiosity, then respect. As the sun set, Elon clapped a hand on David's shoulder. You're not just some random guy off the street. You belong here. David swallowed hard, his voice cracking. Does that mean? Elon nodded. You start tomorrow. For the first time in years, David felt something real. He had a chance to rebuild his life. David arrived at Tesla headquarters the next morning, still wearing the same worn-out clothes but with a renewed sense of purpose. Elon had arranged for him to get temporary access to the engineering lab, though many employees still eyed him with skepticism. Elon handed him a new challenge, a problem that had been stalling one of Tesla's most ambitious projects. We're developing a next-gen battery system, but we can't get the energy density high enough without overheating, Elon explained. If we solve this, we revolutionize the industry. David studied the schematics for a moment, then grabbed a whiteboard marker. You're thinking too conventionally, he said, sketching rapidly. Instead of using standard lithium-ion cooling methods, why not integrate a phase change material that absorbs excess heat? The room fell silent. A few engineers leaned in, studying his work. One of them, a senior engineer named Mark, frowned. Phase change materials? That's, unconventional. Elon folded his arms, intrigued. Explain. David didn't hesitate. Think of it like how ice melts to absorb heat. If we use a material that shifts states at just the right temperature, it can pull heat away from the cells without adding bulk or weight. Mark's skeptical expression softened. That might actually work. Elon grinned. Then let's test it. Over the next few days, David worked tirelessly with the team, refining his idea. When the prototype was finally tested, the results stunned everyone. The battery ran cooler, lasted longer, and outperformed expectations. Elon turned to David with a proud smile. You just changed the game. David exhaled, overwhelmed. For the first time in years, he felt something he thought was lost: purpose. News of Tesla's breakthrough spread quickly within the company, but what truly shocked everyone was the man behind it. A former homeless engineer had just solved a problem that had stumped some of the brightest minds in the industry. One day, as David walked through the office, he noticed people whispering. Then, his phone, an old, barely functioning device Elon had given him, buzzed. His name was trending. Homeless genius saves Tesla's battery project. A journalist had gotten wind of his story, and within hours, news outlets were reaching out. Interviews were requested. Social media exploded with praise and curiosity. David felt uneasy. He had spent years being invisible. Now the whole world was watching. Elon found him sitting alone in the break room, staring at his phone. You okay? David exhaled. I didn't expect all this. Elon smirked. You did something incredible. People love stories like yours. David nodded slowly. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't just about fixing a battery. Maybe it was about proving that second chances could change lives. The media frenzy didn't slow down. Offers poured in, tech companies wanted to hire him, universities invited him to speak, and people from around the world reached out with messages of admiration. But David wasn't interested in fame. He was interested in building something meaningful. Elon called him into his office one evening. So, what's next for you? David thought for a moment. I don't want to just be a news story. I want to keep solving problems. If you'll have me, I'd like to stay at Tesla. Elon grinned. I was hoping you'd say that. He slid a contract across the desk. How about a permanent position? David swallowed hard. The man who had once lived on the streets, unnoticed and forgotten, was now being offered a future he never thought possible. He signed without hesitation. But he didn't stop there. With Elon's support, he started an initiative to help other homeless individuals with engineering backgrounds get back on their feet. Months later, standing on a stage at a Tesla event, David looked out at the crowd. He wasn't just a homeless man who got lucky, he was proof that a second chance could change everything. And as Elon clapped him on the back, he realized something. His past didn't define him anymore. His future did. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more amazing stories and inspiring content. Hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest videos.